Welcome back, you filthy exiles. So, this one's a very different one, and I've been wanting to aka play Palpatine hands for a long time, or Force Lightning. So Lightning Tendrils got a buff this league, and I started out playing Stormcall, and I was like, this is pretty shit. Arguably the bossing damage was crap, though the map clear was okay. But then I wanted to go Giga Tank, and then I started to look at what I could do with my existing tree and how I could fold that into the Elementalist. And lo and behold, this is where I got to. Now, the current tree that I have for this, Cyrus damage wise, is doing just about 3.18 mil DPS once I scaled out. Now, this is just the tree that I've set up, by the way, so I've like gotten everything up to like level 94. The character I'm actually running is only level 75. As you can see here. Now, max cap resistances, this is running CI. So right now the ES is a little low, but we'll work on that pooling. So this is running CI, which is your Chaos and Knock. Another couple of things, this is running the Skin of the Lords, which, you know, we ran in our Giga Tank build last league, and I managed to get an Aegis Aurora finally. Now, the most interesting thing is I've double stacked Call the Brotherhoods, because this isn't normal lightning. This is a cold conversion lightning, which means we actually use Ice Bite in the build, and we can generate frenzy charges from this and basically almost perma-freeze enemies. Because we have a 15% chance to freeze, I think, in our attack. I have chance to freeze 40%, so we're going to get that up to like 100% right now, and then just basically perma-freeze everyone with Force Lightning. So to coin what this build is, it is a Force Lightning, Cold Conversion, Giga Tank, Elementalist, which also stacks Golem Auras, and in particular Taunt Golem Auras, because we've got Meat Shield Golems here. Cost to play this build, this is the 30 Chaos chest, 1x shield, literally like whatever Chaos Helm. It's just a crappy one, like I'm not even running anything good in the POB, it's like shit gear. Same with these, like 50 Chaos gloves, like 20 Chaos belt, Syntrex which dropped, and then like Call of Brotherhoods which are 10C each. There's no Awakened Jewels in this. There's a 2120 Lightning Tendrils which you can get for like 5 Chaos. So, and from like flasking, nothing special. It's mainly generate flask charges when you crit, because this is a crit build. And by the time we get done with the build, it'll be at about 87%, nearly 90% crit. So it'll be with 485 multi. So it will be basically permanent critical strike. And then we'll also get a energy shield on hit, Watcher's Eye with Discipline, which will use that too. Now we do use Arcanist brand, we do use the Assassin Mark skill, and we do have Sigil of Power. And because we're so tanky, we can charge up our Sigil of Power slowly while we're sitting on enemies, and then that'll just beef our damage up. So tooltip damage is like, 205,000, and it's still climbing because nothing is fully leveled in this build as it is right now. How does this play? It's just a lot of fun. I'll show you some gameplay, and then we'll jump into the build, and I'll explain it. This is just a level 75, by the way. So we're already doing like we'll do a T12 red map, but we can do like T16s already, just not as competently as what I'll be able to do shortly. So let's jump into a map and I'll show you. All right. So just for the point of testing, we're going to run a T12 precinct map, and yeah, I'll show you how it works. That's if my recording doesn't brick itself this time, that is. So pretty much just roll in, and you just Force Lightning everything. Now it's got max block, so we don't have to worry too much about getting hit. We do run Determination in the build, and we'll talk about that very shortly. Now we do have problems with Corrupted Blood, which is what we're seeing right there. I haven't got Corrupted Blood in the build, and honestly they need to remove Corrupted Blood from the game, but beggars can't be choosers. Honestly, why would they even put Corrupted Blood in the game? It's just so stupid. But anyway, so we'll do some Archdam here and then we'll go hunt down the map bot. Oh, come on, really? So we drop our Sigil of Power. Then we just absolutely annihilate everything. And like, it's not as fast as like people rolling out with Spark builds at the moment, but it's definitely tanky. And I am going to implement Ward into the build potentially, which is what I've got rolling, and have that cast on crit, so you're constantly always applying Ward as well. So as you can see, like, it's just completely bizarre and different, but it's pretty strong. I mean to say, like, this is nowhere near the damage that we'll be doing in the final tree. And still a T12 map. And this is the best part. Permafreeze! Yo, how's anything going to kill you if it's frozen? So anyway, that's the play, map play. So anyway, let's talk about the build. Okay, so gearing to get this working up to 75 as it is right now. So pretty much that Craptacular one needs +1 to lightning gems. I do not have the crit that I need on this one. So I am completely shooting myself in the foot. But for the purposes, I guess, of just, you know, this is running to a high level of DPS with a shit one. Then yes. We've got Crown of the Inward Eye. We don't even have a max roll on it, so that's going to be something to work at. And the Helm Champ will get Lightning Tendrils does increased damage. Aegis Aurora, obviously we're running a Giga Chad, so we need that. I do have an Onyx Amulet with a Wrath increased mana reservation efficiency roll. Cast speed, if I could get crit, that would be great. Channeling skills, I've got -3 to mana cost, but I can change this out. If you can get crit multi on this, it's even better. If you could get 1+ to intelligence gems, even better. Skin of the Lords, I got one with Zealot's Oath. It was dirt cheap, but it needs to have 5 sockets, 5 blue sockets, and 1 green socket. Now, just remember, Skin of the Lords, you cannot modify or change the socket colors, so you need to get these colors. We're running 2 Calls of the Brotherhood. The reason why is this does 40% of lightning damage is converted to cold damage, and we'll talk about how this synergizes within the tree. These I don't believe are, well, these are actually not bad rolls. Yeah, they're not too bad. So yeah, two of these is required. Similar to the Stormbrand build, and that's what I based this off of somewhat, but this is still completely different again. Now, gloves. I've got Influence gloves, because I like the new Searing Exarch and the other, whatever it's called, Eater of Worlds, you know, crafts. Implicits. I do have shock spread to other enemies. Ideally, you want Unnerve. Unnerve's going to give you an increase in damage as well, and I got 300 damage per int, but I'm going to switch to like increased damage with shocks and things like that. I just need more crafting mats to be able to do that. Belt, pretty much any old All Resist belt and flat energy shield if you can get it. That's going to work. Boots, I am currently using Syntrex because these are just one of the best sets of boots to be running. I haven't really, it's not min and max, so you know, it is what it is. Flasks, so I haven't really focused too much on flasks, but I do have an iron flask, which I get ward with and I get freeze immunity with. And it's important with this one to trigger or gain flask charges when you crit, because you're going to be critting 100% of the time, and your cast speed is like through the roof. 7.75. You're always going to be generating flask charges when you're attacking an enemy. So that makes sense to have that auto trigger when flask ridge is full and when you crit. That way, when you're seeing on an enemy, you just have constant flask piano going on as soon as you charge up. But that's pretty much the gear as it stands. Like, very easy to build. It's in the POB, and this is going to be min and max. Now, I do have an RF build that I'll be doing a build guide with later on as well, at least a cheap version of that. But yeah, this is currently the itemization. Okay, so currently while we're looking at the skill window, so in my helm, I'm running Lightning Golem, Stone Golem, and Flame Golem with Meat Shield. This means the enemies will attack my golems a little more than me. So this is one defensive layer. In my shield, I'm running Flame Dash, Sigil of Power, and Discipline. And that's a Val Discipline, by the way, so we get that huge regen back once we get our souls up. In my wand, I'm running Arcanist Brand, Frost Bomb, and Conductivity. And the reason why we want Frost Bomb is obviously for the exposure, but obviously Conductivity is we're still doing lightning damage, so we want to actually have, you know, that little bit of lightning damage. Now, you could run the Frost Hex as well, but up to you what you want to do. This just all increases DPS, and I'm in the min-max process as well. In the gloves, I'm running Assassin's Mark, Wrath, Determination, and Clarity. So this is one of those Giga Chad determination builds. So yes, you're going to be stacking armor on it. In my boots, Molten Shell, Tempest Shield, and Summon Ice Golem. Now, pardon me, with this one too, I've got Molten Shell triggered to when I move around. So I always have Molten Shell up. So that means my block from my Aegis Aurora, which gives me 2% of my armor back as energy shield, is relatively high. Now, in my chest, I've got Lightning Tendrils. I've got a level 21. Now, with the way that the gemming works on this, I've got a level 24 Lightning Tendrils because I get 2 from the chest and 1 from the wand. And if I could get a +1 on there, I'd get this to like level 25 Lightning Tendrils, which would be nice. Added Lightning, I get +2, so this will be 22 added Lightning. I'm going to get a Awakened version of this, which does a huge damage increase. And then when you get to the level 5 increased Awakened increased lightning damage, you get +1 to lightning skills, which will take this up to 24 or 26 lightning tendrils, which will give you a heap of power. Increased critical strike support, infused channeling, obviously, you need that. Ice Bite, and the reason why we run Ice Bite is because it allows us to generate frenzy charges on frozen enemies, and because we have 40% chance to freeze right now, enemies are constantly being frozen, which means that you're basically going to always have max frenzy charges. So if you stack more frenzy charges, the faster this build will get, and it'll become a clear monster, which is really good. And then increased critical damage support as well, because why not? Let's just max that crit. So it's really focused on maxing out crit on this build for an Elementalist. In the gloves, I've already went through that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the gem setups. And as I said, the POB will be in the description. You can have a look. But very straightforward stuff. Okay, so the tree is a bit of an enigma. It's a little bit different than the usual trees that I've put together. And there's a fair bit of work because we're only at level 75. We got like a base 15 nodes to allocate, but you know, before we're anywhere near max, and we're looking at crit nodes and everything. So as it stands, pretty much you'll start at the Elementalist, and I have potentially need to level up these nodes here to get more ES into my build, but I haven't yet done that. But pretty much we're going to pick up the practical application node, and this is going to give us like 20, 15, what's that, 40%, 55% avoid interruption from stuns while casting, so because we don't have stun immunity, that helps us out, so we're not getting stunned. Arcanist Dominion, and then you'll go up, you'll get Arcane Will, because mana regeneration is really important with this build. As it stands, I don't have any problems. We come up and pick up Prodigal Perfection, Mystic Bulwark, then we'll come down, you want Wicked Ward because you want to be able to regen, as with the Giga Tank that I ran lastly. Now, I came down and got Fingers of Frost, and the reason why is 30% chance to freeze enemies which are chilled, and you're always chilling enemies, so... And this increases the duration of cold elements, and enemies with the cold mastery, enemies become chilled as they unfreeze, causing 30% reduction in speed. So this slows down enemies completely, and this is how we basically chill bosses and lockstep them in one place almost. And then we come in, we get CI, we'll grab Influence. You want the Reservation Masteries, you always pick, so auras have 15% increased effect. Arcane Sanctuary is really important to get on this build because we need the max spell block. Now, potentially we could just get shield cast speed because we're pretty much at max block now, but we achieve max block very easily on this build. So max spell block without having a Rumi's concoction. Then we come down, you're going to get Doomcast, and then you also want to pick up Critical Mastery. Now, I am going to pick up one of these crit multipliers, but, you know, it's nice to have right now, but not relevant or necessary. I've also had to pick up Alacrity and Physique because I'm really deficient on Int and Strength. So then we come in and we grab Static Blows. We also want your shocks can increase damage taken by up to a maximum of 60%, and we're always shocking enemies. So they're always going to be taking increased amount of damage, which is really important. And because we're running Golem stacking, we actually need to pick up Golem Commander, which gives us 1+ to Golems. And then we'll come across and we'll pick up this Lightning Cluster up here, and we'll go up to 50% increased effective Lightning Elements. So we're really looking at stacking impacts of Shock and Chill in this build, which is why it's doing so much damage. And then we get 80% increased crit strike against enemies that are shocked, and we 100% shock, and I'll explain that very shortly. Then we come across, we're going to get Unnatural Calm. We're going to get Discipline that has 25% increased mana reservation. Now, I did come down here, we'll be picking up Insightfulness as well within the next 15 nodes, so that's going to be happening, and that's going to increase my overall energy shield and decrease my mana cost. And we come up, we pick up Arcane Guarding. This is going to give you more energy shield from your shield, go figure, and you already got a good amount of energy shield from the Aegis Aurora, so this is really important. Then we come down, we're going to get Sovereignty, and we're going to get a Reservation Mastery nodes. Now, some builds might get Divine Shield, we just can't fit it in. So we're going to come in, go through these nodes here, get Faith and Steel. You're going to get Holy Dominion because you want that increased chance to freeze, shock, and ignite, and also elemental damage and all elemental resist. We'll also get Light of Divinity, which is going to increase our spell damage, crit rate, and everything else as well. Then you'll come down and you'll pick up Glancing Blows, and then we go to Sanctuary. This gets us to max block that we currently have. So that's pretty much the tree. Now, ascendancy-wise, you'd be asking, what's the sequence in ascendancies, which everyone always asks. So, first of all, you want to get Liege of the Primordial. Then you get Shaper of Storms. This will mean all damage formats can shock. Then you'll get Elemancer. This is going to increase your minion buffs. Now, the advantage of having Liege of the Primordial is you don't have to recast your golems when they die. They automatically recast, which means you can always have your golems up, which really treats them less as minions and more as technical auras. So this is where you're getting huge increases in damage in the tree. And then finally you'll get Mastermind of Discord, and this means any exposure that you inflict, which is why we want to use gloves with cold exposure, is going to do an extra 25% to the affected resistance, and also you're going to regenerate 1 mana per second if you've inflicted exposure recently. So as you hit more enemies, you're going to do more damage, basically. Now, we could also use Shaper of Winter instead of Mastermind of Discord, but really up to you wherever you've got the build up to, and if you're having survivability issues, then this is always an option as well. This is pretty much how the tree works. This will be in the POB, in the POB, so you'll be able to see, and you'll be able to see the final tree as well, which has everything else ticked on. Like, for example, Throat Seeker, and we've also got some Written in Blood, and this one there, and Arcane Potency as well. So yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, that's pretty much the tree. Okay, Pantheons. Currently I'm running Solar Lunaris, but I'm really erring on the notion of running Solar Solaris at this point, just for bossing. And then also running Solar Relakesh, which is reducing physical damage taken over time, and eventually will be bleed as well. That's pretty much it for Pantheon, really straightforward. Anyway, keep following this build. I'm going to keep leveling this one up until it meets the tree criteria. I'm pretty sure this one will have no issues with taking down endgame bosses like the Exarch and Maven and everything. And eventually this will just be your standard old Giga Chad build that we've played last league, except with Lightning Tendrils and max crit. And theoretically you could switch out those skills and play other skills, but I tried and it doesn't really work. This is really made for channeling. So like this, though, it doesn't work with Divine Eye for some reason. So yeah, anyway, like and sub, and until next time, have a good one, and bye.